I began my broadcasting career here with David Bolton a few decades ago, and we are just honored to have all of you here and welcome to this very special ceremony. Again, we are honored as part of today's event to have joining us in the pageantry Los Soldados de Presidio Real de Santa Barbara under the command of Comandante David Martinez.
Escolta, de frente marchen, ya.
Please join me in welcoming participants in this evening's ceremony, Mr. Carlos Cerecedo and Mr. Luis Gonzalez. And please welcome Mrs. Donna Long with the official declaration signed by His Majesty Felipe VI. Please welcome Mr. Gonzalo Sarmiento, entering with the Medal of the Royal Order of Isabel la Católica. Please welcome Mr. Jeffrey Bolton, entering with their grandfather's ceremonial Knights Templar sword, to be worn during this evening's ceremony by Royal Presidio Comandante David Martinez. Please welcome, representing His Majesty Felipe VI, the Consul General of Spain, Ambassador Javier Vallure, and escorted by this evening's honoree, Mr. David Andrew Bolton.
Post colors.
Please rise for the national anthem of the United States of America.
Present arms.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
At this site, in 1782, Spain officially founded El Presidio Real de Santa Barbara. It is the birthplace of Spanish Santa Barbara. And today, we are honored to have your presence at this special ceremony honoring David Andrew Bolton.
Please welcome Ambassador Javier Mayure, Consul General of Spain, and Mr. David Bolton. A very important part of this ceremony leading to entrance into the Royal Order of Isabella Católica is the signing of the official declaration by His Majesty King Felipe VI. For the reading in Spanish of the words on this official declaration, we welcome Mr. Carlos Cerecedo.
Muchas gracias. Felipe VI, rey de España, gran maestre de la Orden de Isabel la Católica, y en su nombre, el ministro de Asuntos Exteriores, Unión Europea y Cooperación, gran canciller de la Orden, en atención a los méritos y circunstancias que concurren en el señor David Bolton, he tenido el bien de otorgarle la Orden de Isabel la Católica encomienda. Por lo tanto, se le conceden los honores, distinciones y uso de las insignias que le corresponden a tenor de los estatutos. Dado en Madrid, 19 de junio del 2018, el gran canciller de la Orden, el rey de España, Felipe VI, y la embajadora secretaria de la Orden.
And for the reading in English of the official declaration, we welcome Mr. Luis Gonzalez.
Good evening. In the name of His Royal Majesty, Felipe VI, King of Spain and Grand Master of the Order of Isabel la Católica, along with the Minister of Foreign Affairs of the European Union, and in cooperation with the Grand Chancellor of said order. In recognition of the merits and efforts that Mr. David Bolton has set forth to honor and preserve Spain's legacy in the United States, His Royal Majesty has seen fit to grant him the commendation of the Order of Isabel la Católica. Therefore, Mr. David Bolton is awarded the honors, distinctions, and use of the insignia that correspond to the statutes. Declared in Madrid on June 19, 2018, and signed by His Royal Majesty, the King of Spain, Felipe VI, Grand Chancellor of the Order and the Ambassador Secretary of the Order.
And now the presentation of the medal.
On this day, 24 April 2019, at the site of the founding of the Spanish Santa Barbara, and upon receiving his encomienda declared by His Majesty Felipe VI, David Andrew Bolton is now officially the commander of the Royal Order of Isabel la Católica.
Please welcome the Consul General of Spain, Ambassador Javier Vallure.
Well, good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. Good afternoon, my dear friend David. George Benjamin Clemenceau, a controversial but remarkable French politician, was the Prime Minister of France during World War I, which took place, as you all know, between 1914 and 1918. He was one of the leaders that participated in the famous Treaty of Versailles between Germany and the Allied powers that concluded the mentioned conflict. He was known by the nickname of the Tiger. A small sample of his character was his phrase, and I quote, "Decorations are not requested, neither rejected." I can assure you all that David neither requested to join the ranks of the Royal Order of Isabella la Católica, nor he has rejected when I informed him that he was awarded with this distinction. And I was very happy to learn about this because he got it by his own merits. However, before starting with Mr. Davis Bolton's virtues, let me explain to you all what this order is about. This medal of Isabella la Católica, or the Catholic, probably the most important queen in my country's history. And now I was reading during lunchtime that there is a book written by a British historian who was a journalist who was stationed in Madrid for several years, who was one of the bestseller books last year, 1918, called The Queen Isabella la Católica. He assures in that book, and he's British, you have to be, he says that Queen Isabella was probably one of the greatest queens in all times, and for sure in her time, because she not only put Spain in the map, with the help of her husband Ferdinand, but a whole story with other parts of the world started that day. Then she's an important queen. This decoration belongs to a Spanish civil order granted in recognition of individuals or institutions, Spaniards or foreigners, for services that benefit my country. It was created in 1815, then more than 200 years ago, by King Ferdinand VII of Spain in honor of Queen Isabella I of Castilla, with the name of Royal and American Order of Isabella the Catholic. It is one of the most prestigious decorations granted by Spain. Some American citizens have been awarded with this medal since its creation. And today, David. David arrived from Detroit, as her mother Donna was reminding me just some minutes ago. David arrived from Detroit, where he was born, to Santa Barbara in 1968 at the age of 5. He was this size. Well, he was not this size. He was this size at the age of 5 with his parents and his brother. Donna, his mother, and Jeffrey, his brother, are here today with us, all along with his husband, Gonzalo, and his sister-in-law, Trin. Since then, David has been engaged with the Spanish culture and legacy with his gastronomy, music, and fiestas. Good life, isn't this wonderful? I mean, food, music, and fiestas. He's a smart guy. He got familiar with the names of the streets, the descendants of the first Spanish families who settled down in Santa Barbara. During the last 20 years, Mr. Bolton has dedicated himself to the preservation and conservation of the Spanish missions in California, most of them founded by Fray Junípero Serra. From his current position as Executive Director and CEO of the California Missions Foundations since 2012, he has greatly contributed to the research of the Spanish legacy in this part of the United States. This has helped him to elaborate several documentaries about the history of these missions and to author innumerable articles about the presence of Spain in California. Under his leadership, the foundation has raised millions of dollars and has coordinated conservation projects of those institutions and presidios from San Diego to Sonoma. In 2015, he managed, thanks to his intercession, to merge the California Missions Foundations and the California Mission Studies Association under the current denomination. This prestigious institution brings together famous academics, researchers, professors, and conservationists to the Spanish legacy, which is not only mine, but yours too. Since 2013, David Bolton has been an active member of the U.S.-Spain Council, one of the most important institutions, if not the most important, on our bilateral relations. And he was instrumental in the visit of Their Highness, the Prince and the Princess of Asturias, to Santa Barbara in 2013. That wall reminds us. I was there that day. It was a very hot day. Do you remember, David? Some years ago. He has traveled many times to Spain and Morocco, countries where he has carried out research about the language, gastronomy, and toponymy with the goal of finding similarities among the Christian, Arab, and Jewish worlds, historically so important for the formation of Spain, above all in Toledo, where the three civilizations of the three religions lived together peacefully for years and years and even centuries. He has directed archaeological, my goodness me, works in search of the Spanish past and a very productive restoration of the archives of the 18th and 19th centuries of the San Francisco de Asís mission by using a process of digitalization and conservation to guarantee a better access. Mr. Bolton, my friend David, our friend David, is an enthusiast of the Spanish culture and speaks perfectly well the language as a Spaniard, sometimes better than myself. For these reasons and many more, it is easy to see why this decoration is not only deserved, but extremely deserved. I personally know David, and I can assure you that I have not made a mistake proposing this decoration to His Majesty King Philip VI of Spain. Well, let me conclude by quoting the German thinker Johann Wolfgang von Goethe. He said once that we always have time enough if we use it in the right way. And David has used this time almost to perfection. A good example of this is all these friends that he has gathered here today around this podium, around this presidium, and the way he has organized this splendid ceremony. Enjoy, be happy, take care, and viva Estados Unidos y viva España.
Javier, muchísimas gracias. Thank you so much. Today, we're at a site that's very historic, not only to Santa Barbara, but to the entire Spanish legacy in the Americas. It's here where all of you are sitting. Junípero Serra raised the founding cross in 1782 at what he thought was going to be the mission in the Presidio. This Presidio became the heart of Santa Barbara. So many descendants, so many people that have moved to Santa Barbara today continue to live and enjoy the legacy, the culture, and everything that Spain has brought to the Americas. We couldn't be at a more historic site, and I would like to thank the Santa Barbara Trust for Historic Preservation for allowing us to have this event here today. Without a doubt, this is truly a special moment, one that I am very honored to receive, Javier. And it's a special moment, I think, for so many here that day by day continue to work to preserve these buildings, the culture, the fiesta, the traditions that have been part of this town for more than 200 years. Santa Barbara is a very special place. When I first met Javier 5 or 6 years ago, he said in his mind, Santa Barbara is the West Coast version of St. Augustine. St. Augustine is the oldest city in the United States, founded by the Spanish in the 1500s. And what an honor and a tribute to Santa Barbara, the descendants and those that live here today keeping alive this heritage, to be called the West Coast version of St. Augustine. Santa Barbara truly is a special place. So many here have worked to make it what it is today. We enjoy this city. We see the names of so many Spanish families, important people, Spanish words, dotting our streets from downtown to the east side, from the San Roque area to the Mesa. This town is very Spanish today. Everyone here is proud of that, everyone respects it, and everyone will continue, I'm sure, to honor Spain, the descendants, and the people that came here after Spain to make this city what we all enjoy today. I've enjoyed very much the last 27 years studying the missions. I've been blessed to be able to go to the missions in South America, the Jesuit chain that goes from Paraguay to northern Argentina and southwest Brazil. I've been able to see the missions in Sinaloa and Sonora close up. Missions and presidios in that region that were the birthplace of the founders of Baja California and later here in Alta California. Santa Barbara truly has its roots in Sonora and Sinaloa, and along with Gonzalo, it's been a pleasure to learn so much more about the culture, the people, and truly what is Sinaloa and Sonora, a very important place and a place with strong ties to Santa Barbara. And Santa Barbara truly has and continues to have strong ties with Spain. Javier, since taking over his job 5 or 6 years ago as the Consul General in Los Angeles, has shown a great interest here. And the respect of Santa Barbara and California and the United States continues with Spain, something that has existed here in the Americas for hundreds of years. As a member of the U.S.-Spain Council, we work to continue to build on those binational relations. The U.S.-Spain Council is made up of some of the top businesses in the United States, the top 38 businesses in Spain, and a lot of politicians and cultural exports, all coming together to keep those relations that have been here for hundreds of years. It's truly a great partnership. It's a great bond we have. Myself, and I'm sure many here, are honored, Javier, to continue and to work to continue those binational relations. When Javier called me, he gave me a choice of where we could do this ceremony. And you have to think of the Santa Barbara Presidio, ground zero for the start of Santa Barbara. From that flagpole, this town grew. This town mushroomed, and this town became such a place that so many people around the world cherish, respect, and come here on a regular basis to enjoy and to live. Many people in this room have worked hard for preservation. And we're unique here in Santa Barbara and Alta California because of those efforts to preserve these historic buildings. Not only the missions, but the presidios, the ranchos, the asistencias, all of the historical related buildings that came out of this chain of 21 missions and 4 presidios. It's the people that have worked hard to preserve this beginning in the late 1800s and early 1900s with transplants from the East Coast that came here and fell in love with this new style, had philanthropy in their blood, and stepped forward to recreate and rebuild these where necessary and conserve these buildings so that future generations can enjoy. Alta California, Santa Barbara specifically as well, is blessed to have probably the finest collection of these Spanish buildings from the period of Spain here in the Americas. It's something we see every day. It's something that we drive past on a regular basis. And it's something that's reflected in the architecture, the style, and our everyday life here in Santa Barbara. Groups like Old Spanish Days Fiesta work so hard on the cultural side of things to keep alive. For over 90 years, Fiesta and Old Spanish Days have been working to keep alive the spirit, the culture, the dance, the music, the food, everything that came out of the Spanish period, the later Rancho period, and continue here in this beautiful city of Santa Barbara today. As I look out here, I see so many people that I've known since school, family members, colleagues from all aspects of what I've been working on for the last 45 years. Paul Verkaman mentioned him and I worked together in 1985. Seems so long ago. Others that I'm involved with now through the California Missions Foundation or other nonprofits here in town. It's truly an honor that all of you have been able to come here today and join with me in this very special moment. And with all of you, I share this. I know so many of you have worked hard to keep alive everything that Spain is so proud that we have done here in Santa Barbara. And Javier told me that, David, it's not only what you've done with this medal that I want to talk to you about. I want to make sure that after receiving the medal, you continue. And Javier, on the phone call a few weeks ago, I gave you my word, and I give you my word here today. I will continue everything I can do to preserve these buildings, to keep alive the culture, and to foster and to improve and build on a great binational relationship between Spain, the United States, California, and Santa Barbara. Everybody, once again, thank you. Thanks for being a part of this, and it's so special to be here with all of you today.